Presbyterian Church in America. Book of Church Order. Chapter 13. The Presbytery. 13:1. The Presbytery consists of all the teaching elders and churches within its bounds that have been accepted by the Presbytery. When the Presbytery meets as a court, it shall comprise all teaching elders and ruling elders as elected by their session. Each congregation is entitled to two ruling elder representatives for the first 350 communing members or fraction thereof, and one additional ruling elder for each additional 500 communing members or fraction thereof. 13:2. A minister shall be required to hold his membership in the presbytery within whose geographical bounds he resides, unless there are reasons which are satisfactory to his presbytery why he should not do so. When a minister labors outside the geographical bounds of, or in a work not under the jurisdiction of his presbytery, at home or abroad, it shall be only with the full concurrence of and under circumstances agreeable to his presbytery, and to the presbytery within whose geographical bounds he labors, if one exists. When a minister shall continue on the rolls of his presbytery without a call to a particular work for a prolonged period, not exceeding 3 years, the procedure as set forth in BCO 34:10 shall be followed. A minister without call shall make or file a report to his presbytery at least once each year. Editorial comment. The provision for a minister to hold his membership in the presbytery within whose geographical bounds he resides does not apply to the non-geographical Korean language presbyteries as long as the General Assembly mandates their existence. 13:3. Every ruling elder not known to the presbytery shall produce a certificate of his regular appointment from the session of the church which he represents. 13:4. Any 3 ministers belonging to the presbytery, together with at least 3 ruling elders, being met at the time and place appointed, which may include a teleconference or video conference place, shall be a quorum competent to proceed to business. However, any presbytery, by a majority vote of those present at a stated meeting, may fix its own quorum provided it is not smaller than the quorum stated in this paragraph. The presbytery, in its discretion, may for itself and its subordinate commissions, adopt rules determining when video conference or telecommunication arrangements may be used for meetings and regulating how meetings using telecommunications arrangements shall be conducted. 13:5. Ordinarily, only a minister who receives a call to a definite ecclesiastical work within the bounds of a particular presbytery may be received as a member of that presbytery, except in cases where the minister is already honorably retired, or in those cases deemed necessary by the presbytery, subject to the review of the General Assembly. In such cases deemed necessary, which may include the case of a minister without call whose circumstances appear to require relocation within the bounds of that presbytery, the time allotment of BCO 13:2 shall be counted from the day the minister was first continued on the roll without call in any presbytery. 13:6. Ministers transferring into the presbytery. A minister seeking admission to a presbytery from another presbytery in the Presbyterian Church in America shall be examined on Christian experience, including personal character and family management, and also as to his views in theology, the sacraments, and church government. If the examining presbytery does not accept the minister seeking admission, it shall record this fact along with its rationale, if one is adopted, in the minutes, and shall communicate its rationale to his current presbytery. B. If an applicant comes from another denominations, the presbytery shall examine him thoroughly, as required by the trials listed in BCO 21-4, and require him to answer in the affirmative the questions put to candidates at their ordination. Ordained ministers from other denominations being considered by presbyteries for reception may come under the extraordinary provisions set forth in BCO 21-4. C. In every case, presbytery shall require each ordained minister entering the presbytery to state the specific instances in which he may differ with the confession of faith and catechisms in any of their statements and or propositions, which differences the court shall judge in accordance with BCO 21-4 FG. See also RAO 16:3 E.6 13:7. The presbytery shall cause to be transcribed, in some convenient part of the book of records, the obligations required of ministers at their ordination, which shall be subscribed by all admitted to membership in the following form. I, do sincerely receive and subscribe to the above obligation as a just and true exhibition of my faith and principles, and do resolve and promise to exercise my ministry in conformity thereunto. 13.8. The Presbytery, before receiving into its membership any church, shall designate a commission to meet with the church's ruling elders to make certain that the elders understand and can sincerely adopt the doctrines and polity of the Presbyterian Church in America as contained in its Constitution. In the presence of the commission, the ruling elders shall be required to answer affirmatively the questions required of officers at their ordination. 13.9. The Presbytery has power to receive and issue appeals, complaints, and references brought before it in an orderly manner. In cases in which the session cannot exercise its authority, it shall have power to assume original jurisdiction. It has power. Editor's note. Issue means settling the issue of the case. A. To receive under its care candidates for the ministry. To examine and license candidates for the holy ministry. To receive, dismiss, ordain, install, remove, and judge ministers. B. To review the records of church sessions, redress whatever they may have done contrary to order, and take effectual care that they observe the constitution of the church. C. To establish the pastoral relation and to dissolve it at the request of one or both of the parties, or where the interest of religion imperatively demands it. D. To set apart evangelists to their proper work, to require ministers to devote themselves diligently to their sacred calling and to censure the delinquent. E. To see that the lawful injunctions of the higher courts are obeyed. F. To condemn erroneous opinions which injure the purity or peace of the church. To visit churches for the purpose of inquiring into and redressing the evils that may have arisen in them. To unite or divide churches at the request of the members thereof. To form and receive new churches. To take special oversight of churches without pastors, to dissolve churches, to dismiss churches with their consent. G. To devise measures for the enlargement of the church within its bounds. In general, to order whatever pertains to the spiritual welfare of the churches under its care. H. And, finally, to propose to the assembly such measures as may be of common advantage to the church at large. 13.10. When a presbytery determines to dissolve a church, it shall give no less than 60 days' notice of such dissolution to the local church. With such notice, presbytery shall communicate to the members their responsibility to transfer their membership to other particular or mission churches. In addition, presbytery shall 1. Transfer membership to existing churches with the consent of the individuals and the sessions of the receiving churches. Or 2. Grant a letter of dismissal to an individual so requesting, testifying that the individual was a member in good standing of the local church at the date of dissolution. See BCO 46.7. Until such time as the person is received by a church, the presbytery shall continue to provide pastoral oversight. Or 3. Place individuals under the oversight of a commission of presbytery acting as a session. BCO 15.2. For up to 1 year, renewable, until such time as either a new congregation can be formed or such persons are dismissed to membership in another church. 13.11. The presbytery shall keep a full and accurate record of its proceedings and shall send it up to the General Assembly annually for review. It shall report to the General Assembly every year all the important changes which may have taken place, such as licensures, ordinations, the receiving or dismissing of members, the removal of members by death, the union and the division of churches, and the formation of new ones. 13.12. The presbytery shall meet at least twice a year on its own adjournment. The moderator shall call a special meeting at the request or with the concurrence of 3 teaching elders and 3 ruling elders from at least 3 different churches. Should the moderator be for any reason unable to act, the stated clerk shall, under the same requirements, issue the call. If both moderator and stated clerk are unable to act, any 3 teaching elders and 3 ruling elders of at least 3 different churches shall have power to call a meeting. However, Any presbytery may prescribe in its rules its own requirements for calling a special meeting, provided that those requirements are not less than those stated in this section. Notice of the special meeting shall be sent not less than 10 days in advance to each teaching elder and to the clerk of session of every church. In the notice, the purpose of the meeting shall be stated, and no business other than that named in the notice is to be transacted. The presbytery also shall convene when directed to do so by the General Assembly, for the transaction of designated business only. 13:13. Ministers in good standing in other presbyteries, or in any evangelical church, being present at any meeting of presbytery, may be invited to sit as visiting brethren. It is proper for the moderator to introduce these brethren to the presbytery. This provision shall also apply to the General Assembly.